Cool. So, uh, since it's been forever, um, let's do the recap. Last we left off, you guys went to the city of Iyera, um, explored a little bit, witnessed some exciting weather phenomena, um, did a little bit of shopping, uh, and then went on your way to go try to find Valkyria's mother. Um, you were able to find the relatively small cabin in which she resides with her new stepson and her soon-to-be husband. Um, and she was delighted to see Valk. She was very polite meeting you all, happy to know that her daughter's doing well for herself and having friends. You also met her stepson, a air genasi named Nim. Or a few of you had some autism to autism communication with him. From there, you guys decided to head over to Kana Lake. Just deciding to spend the day together, have some fun. It is here that the autism to autism communication continues with Nim. Some of you went swimming in the lake, either looking for frogs or meeting some fae folk residing within the water. Demir decided to chew out Valk's mom for being a flawed human being. And
hot kettle.
It's the anti-mom bias.
And it was really just a nice, calm, casual day. Demir also shared one of her pastries with Tobias, shrinking him down into someone more gnome size. And you smuggled him back to the fortress that you guys had set up outside of Valk's mom's home, where he turned into a tiny owl bear to the delight and enjoyment of everyone in the party. You all eventually started to make your way back towards Valk's mom's home, and clearly still thinking about her conversation with Demir. She pulled Valk aside and told her that she loved her and made sure that she knew that she was born out of love. So it is now that we find ourselves outside of the fortress and the small home of Runa Grace. Or about to be Runa Grace. So what do you guys want to do?
What is my technical last name? Runa.
Well, I mean, as the player, it is ultimately up to you.
Oh, it is technically Grace.
Yes. Valk's mom's last name is Grace. Her partner's name is Jason Carter. You have not asked if she's going to take his last name or not, or even rolled to see if that's a thing in this world.
There's been bigger things to worry about. Like if she's secretly evil.
Roll an insight check.
I'm taking it at face value.
Are there any
Can anyone make that check?
I don't think anyone did.
I am. Was that an insight?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. That is, let's see. Sorry, I have to do math. Okay. That is 14.
She's truly the most evil person that's ever lived. No, she's
a mom.
she's a lady.
Yeah, that tracks.
She is a flawed human being just like herself, but she genuinely cares for her daughter and wants what's best for her.
Sus, but okay. I suppose as we're getting close to the home, Valk will be all like, yo, where is everyone?
Are you guys all still hiding out in the fortress with Tiny Tobias?
Yes.
After, because I know at the end of last session, Iyera had popped his head in and saw Tobias. And after Iyera pops his head in, Tobias turns back to human form. So he's still tiny, but he's back to his human self.
All right.
Aaron's still just standing in the doorway looking in.
I guess I roll perception to see Aaron's ass hanging out of the Fortress of Solitude. Natural 20. I see everything.
He's got a pretty nice ass.
So I guess Valk does the cartoon thing where it's an additional head popping over Aaron's head. Just stacked Azamars.
So, what's the plan now?
Was that directed at Valk?
Yes, / just in general.
Fair enough. Wait, did Valk see Tiny Toby before you guys left? No, right?
I believe you rolled for it last time. Tobias is going to be tiny for the next couple hours.
So I guess Valk sees Tiny Toby and is just... When did Toby get tiny?
It was from one of the pastries that Demir gave me.
Left him in the water too long.
I didn't know people of your disposition shrank in water.
I didn't either.
Valk just kind of straightens up and goes, now I am tall one.
For now.
Let me enjoy it.
Runa, by the way, at this point, can tell that you guys are all going to have your a conversation in your secret clubhouse that you grew on her lawn, and is kind of ushering Nim inside so that they can start getting dinner ready.
But I guess to answer your question, Toby, I suppose we're waiting on Mr. Carter to show up.
All right. I guess then, since they're waiting on Mr. Carter to show up, Tobias will. He might sit outside the fortress and do a little whittling while waiting, I guess.
All
Which
right.
it's interesting since the knife is larger than he's used to use it. Like before, the knife was, smaller, so it made it easy for controlling it and stuff. But now that it's larger and doesn't fit as well in his hand, he's just like, be careful not to cut your fingers off.
Do a little whittling.
A little wood carving.
Just a little.
You are on a roll of dexterity check to see what you make.
Yep. Give me 1 minute. Dexterity. There. Wait. Oh. Duh. Right there. Ew! That's a 12.
Well, what is Tobias trying to make?
How about a bear?
All
Like
right.
a bear standing up.
All right. So you start carving the bear, and it's a little sloppier than your usual work, given your unfamiliarity, shall we say, with the size of you and the knife. But it is still recognizably a bear. And it isn't a terribly long wait before you spot a man start to make his way towards the house, looking kind of in confusion towards the fortress.
Surprise, there's an instant building on your land. Deal with it.
Tobias
Do you
will
do
poke his
anything?
head into the fortress and let people know, hey, I think his name is James Carter, right? Or is it
Jason?
Jason Carter? It was like J.A. something. It looks like Jason Carter has come back.
Valk sticks her head out of the window and is just like, sus.
All right, roll a perception check.
Perception or insight?
He's too far away for
Okay, fair enough.
insight.
17 plus.
17.
Where's my perception? 19.
All right. So this guy just seems to be a regular human man. He is wearing the clothes of a laborer. Doesn't seem all that wealthy. He has fair skin and kind of auburn brownish hair. Not terribly long, like maybe just a little shorter than mine, but it's kind of tied back to keep it out of his face. And he's got like a little bit of a scruff on his jawline. And he's just making his way towards his house and looking at the fortress that has popped up next to it. That is definitely dwarfing his own house.
I think Valk would wait until Runa and Carter are in one place for the introduction, as opposed to swooping on him.
Okay.
Unless if anybody wants to tackle him as he's returning home.
He decides to go for his house instead of the fortress. And you can still see like he's trying to figure out what the hell that is as he heads inside.
Well, the only word I can use to describe Valk going towards the house is a scamper.
All right. Does
Just
anyone
like
else go with Valk?
The moment the door closes, it's just
a creature.
Tobias will hang back and probably maybe work on another wood carving or something to give him privacy.
All right.
I
Anyone
think Demir is probably going to sit with Toby. And I think that she's probably just been like working on like getting some bread prepped, and now she's like getting it formed into shapes, just kind of sitting out there with him. But yeah, I don't think she's gonna go to Valk.
All right. So, in that case, Valkyria, how do you make your entrance?
She kind of gets to the door, but then pauses and just kind of has a moment of nervousness. And I gotta make sure it's the spell I mean to be casting. Okay. She obviously like has a moment as she's waiting for deciding if she wants to knock. At which point she casts heroism on herself as like try to make herself feel better.
All right.
Does a McFucking holy symbol and then knocks, I guess.
Okay. You can hear voices from within. And it is your mother that opens the door and she smiles at you and says, "Perfect timing. Come back in, please." She kind of takes your hand and pulls you inside. And now that you're closer, you can get a better look at this gentleman if you like. He's taller than your mother, but he is not as tall as you, of course. He's got brown eyes and looks tired, like he's just had a long day at work, but he smiles at you when you come in, and he says, pleasure to meet you, Valkyria. My name is Jason, and he holds his hand out.
Valk reaches out and goes, "Yeah, Valkyria or Valk." And how is his squeeze? On the handshake.
Roll an insight check.
4, 10.
He seems to be doing fine. He's not like trying to assert dominance or anything. He's just shaking your hand.
Valk asserts a little dominance.
Okay. He says, well, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Runa talked about you a whole lot.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
You can see at this point Nim comes out from downstairs and gives his dad a hug and then retreats downstairs.
You know, kid things.
Mm-hmm.
Very important things to do. Like stacking rocks.
Yeah. He's doing autism thing. But he knows to come say hi to his dad when he gets home. Is there anything you'd like to say to this guy in particular, or are you just gonna look at him?
Trying to figure out how I want to phrase it.
Okay.
Because it is early. I know you just got off work, but is there a chance that we could have a conversation before dinner?
Of course. In the house or elsewhere. Runa clued me in on your fortress.
It's been handy for traveling.
I imagine so.
Yeah, some benefits to the adventurer lifestyle. We might as well go for a short walk.
Lead the way.
Valk opens the door and
calls out to you both as you start to leave. I'll see if I can get a start on dinner while you guys are out.
And Valk kind of turns around and is like, also you can chat with the rest of the roses. I'm sure they would be more than happy to help.
Oh, nonsense. They are guests here.
Thumbs up.
All right. So where do you lead, Jason?
Just enough that the prying eyes of the fortress can't hear.
Okay.
Because
Demir is watching Valkyria and Jason leave the house and like watches them walk off, and she's going to whistle to one of the pixies and in Sylvan tell them to go listen in.
Okay.
Of course you do.
All right. Let's see. How about Gree? Gree can go follow.
Gree is probably the one that she pulled up, so.
Mm-hmm. All right. Valk. Actually, Valk, I'll tell you what. Make a general perception check.
13, 15.
You don't see anything.
Okie doke, I'll be oblivious. So as we're walking, Val kind of clears her throat and goes, while I haven't been part of my mom's life for a while, I still feel the need to do the responsible thing and grill you about your intentions with my mother.
I would expect nothing less. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
She said you met down south originally?
Yes, we met near the Trio.
And you were fishing then?
Well, I had originally lived elsewhere, but after the death of my first wife, I wish to.
My condolences.
I appreciate it. She was a wonderful woman, but she passed away a long time ago. So, but nevertheless, I wish to seek a change. So I ended up leaving Sinoon and made my way to Triolos to try to find a better life for myself and Nim. And
a lovely young man.
He's a sweet boy. Means the world to me. But it was there that we eventually met Runa.
And she said, you were helping her find me?
Well, it was important to her, and what's important to her is important to me. And if she wanted to find you and reach out to you, I support her completely. I'm glad you're able to make it to the wedding, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I would like to roll an insight check. I flubbed my insight check.
Yeah, go for it.
I flubbed it. 10.
I mean, he seems like he's being pretty honest.
But is he? Sorry, I'm having trouble thinking like Valk this morning.
It's all good.
Valk kind of tips her head and is like, I have one last important question. Could you accept this spell first?
Sure.
I zone of truth the motherfucker.
Okay. You get the impression he's not very familiar with magic, but he doesn't make an effort to resist at your request.
Mm-hmm. How do I want to phrase this? My first impression is that you're an honorable man. And your intentions with my mother are honorable as well. That was a question.
I certainly try to be honorable.
And you have striven to be a caring partner for my mother. It is your intention to continue to be as such, correct?
Absolutely. I care for her deeply. She's a good woman and she's kind to my son.
At which point you can kind of see stress just kind of stream off of Valk's shoulder, and she kind of claps him on the back and it's like, okay, that's all I needed to hear. At which point she's kind of much more casual, walking him back to the cabin. And
I'm a bit curious about you, though. Of course, I've heard a few limited stories from Runa, but what can you tell me about yourself? I'd like to get to know you a bit more.
Fair enough. I don't know how much Runa has told you about my younger years, and I want to respect her privacy depending upon how much she shared with you. But the gist of it is I had a unhappy experience with a gentleman who used my birth as a means of gaining additional power. My father eventually was able to intervene, and I was spirited away for a while. At which point I got training to be a paladin. And then I found my calling elsewhere and was a hedge cleric for a while. You know, trying to do good as I saw fit and trying to make the world a better place.
That's a noble goal. What sorts of things do you like to do for fun? I get the impression you've been traveling a lot. Is that more a hobby or?
I more travel to go where I am needed, be it by my own choices or by the direction of the Church of Torm, who I affiliate with. I since met the Roses, and we are currently doing our best to fight the odd events that have been going on in the nation.
We don't get too much information up here on.
I assume you've noticed the odd weather.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say, actually. Have been noticing strange weather happening every now and then, strange light.
Much like that. However, there's areas that are more acutely affected.
Well, I hope everyone stays safe.
We're doing our best to keep everyone safe.
Including yourselves.
The Roses have been very kind to me, and I am a bit of a powerhouse in my own right, both in the arts of healing and combat. So I do all right for myself.
He gives you a look that clearly says, that's not really what I was asking, but I'm gonna drop it for now. It's about this point that you guys return to the cabin. And you see Nim making his way outside, and he waves at you both and then heads over to the fortress to knock on the door.
I do ask Jason about, so have you been a sailor? Is the fishing a new thing? Do you enjoy the fishing? That kind of as well.
Fishing is more of a new thing for me. Previously, I had worked on a ship in Sanoon that traveled between here and Lorati, mostly transporting cargo for things such as trade. But I like fishing. It's calm, quiet. Don't have to deal with as many pirates.
Would Valk have run into pirates yet?
Well, they're more common in the sea between Saya and Lorati.
Or the sky.
I thankfully didn't have to deal with those as many, but I have heard tales of the odd bandit wyvern riders, particularly over close to Island.
Isn't Island the one where we're going to?
Island
is the one we're in, I believe.
Oh.
Nope, you are in New Valley.
Right.
Island is the country to the east that the Turning Fire is in.
Aha, I knew things.
It's the seceded East Coast, basically. Seceded isn't the correct word, but...
Yeah, I've been doing some business in Island as of late. So maybe I'll get my chance to see some pirates.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say to be careful, but I'm sure you can handle yourself.
At which point, just a predatory grin. Just Nim knocked on the door.
Yes, Nim knocked on the door. Does anyone answer?
I mean, Demir and Toby are still sitting out there. So I assume
I'm pretty sure.
I thought you said you were sitting inside.
I thought we were sitting outside, but
I had said that Tobias was sitting just outside the fortress.
In that case, Nim would have approached you guys directly. Greek kind of flutters over his head and lands in Demir's hair at this point. And Nim gestures that it's time to come into the house now.
Tobias will say, "Oh, thank you for letting us know, Nim. We'll be in shortly."
And he nods and just trots off.
Is Tobias still small? Has enough time passed for it to wear? Okay.
It's gonna wear off soon, but you're still small at the moment.
Okay. If it's gonna wear off soon, then he'll tell Demir and the other people that are in the fort, hey, it's about time for dinner. You guys head in early. I'm just gonna wait for this to wear off. Because if it's about to wear off, then he's gonna just hang out. Last thing he wants to deal with is being small, sitting in a chair, and then suddenly growing larger and like whacking someone under the table with his legs or some shit.
Would it be a dispel magic or a remove curse?
Either one would work.
Okay. Valk, hearing that Toby wants to wait, kind of walks over and just goes, bop. Dispel magic.
All right.
That works.
It's not like we're using our spells for anything today.
Fair enough. Tobias will head inside with the others.
Cool. So Runa is finishing up the final touches on a fish and potato plate, making sure that there's plenty for everyone. And once again, the house is kind of crowded, but you're able to find space to either sit at a table or sit on the floor and just kind of spread out in the space as you eat. Jason talks a little bit about his day working on the Owl Harpy. That was the name of his ship. It seems to you guys, frankly, like boring work, but he seems happy doing it, and Runa seems happy talking to him about it. Are there any other conversations that would like to be had?
Speak for yourself. Tobias is intrigued by the workings of a ship.
All right. So the boats that fit on the Kana Lake are keel boats. He tells you how it can carry about half a ton. But of course, they don't really ever catch that much. They catch enough to feed the town, yes, but also to send to other areas of the country, such as Blemix, for trade. There's generally about 3 or 4 people working on the ship, catching the fish, steering, sailing, and he mentions one of his co-workers, Ricky, in particular, being especially good with the fish, but being too short to be able to steer the ship. He seems happy doing what he's doing. He also does mention that all of the ship and legally the lake itself belongs to the commander of Iyera, Rhetstone.
So there's no private ships on the lake?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Are you asking that? Or are you just being sus?
Asking, I guess.
Okay. Well, the Stone family has owned this land for generations, and the lake technically belongs to them. So they're the ones in charge, pretty much. Keeps competition low.
Does the commander live in the vicinity?
Yes, he lives with his wife at the Moonstone Fortress in the city proper.
Does Tobias remember seeing the fortress when like their party was walking around the city and stuff?
Yeah, it's one of the few buildings of the city that's made of stone. It's a castle-like fortress, and doesn't look too fancy. Those of you that were in the bakery shop with Margaret, she mentioned that it's named that way because of the moonstone deposit that was once beneath the town.
Right. I remember, well, Tobias wasn't there for that, but I remember that being mentioned in session. Okay. Interesting.
Margaret had also mentioned that there's possibilities that the Stone family is cursed, but she says that's just rumor. You're muted.
I was just like, yeah, I remember that.
A curse.
Have you ever met the commander?
Not personally. I get the impression more of a private man.
You could invite him to the wedding. He might just send an obligation gift and it could be worth something.
I did exactly that.
Did he respond?
He responded saying that he would not be there, but is going to send, as you mentioned, an obligatory gift. Which,
Hey, that's
as
nice.
would be what I would expect from a man that is technically my boss. Any other conversations that would like to be had?
Not at dinner, but I do want to corner Lish before the end of the night.
Corner?
Talk to. It's not a threat.
Well,
Or
that's
is
what
it?
you think. Yeah.
I don't know. Like after dinner, he's probably gearing up to go see if he can't hunt something.
Too good for soup.
Do you want? He is too good for soup. Thank you for acknowledging. Do you want to come?
No one is too
with
good
him?
for soup. God damn it.
Which is
yeah.
too good for soup?
Valk would be more than happy to tag along in this case.
Uh-huh. Well, you can walk together for a bit until he goes woof. What do you want to? He kind of like eyes you as we walk.
Tagging along was actually twofold.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping you could give me a lift into town in the morning.
Oh, Kyria, you do understand I'm not your personal taxi, right?
And it would be an opportunity to share some information with you that I have recently gathered.
Which would be
in regards to Iyera Aaron's daughter.
oh. And what would that be? He kind of gives you a look. Well, eyebrows raised.
That she's one, that she's from the previous loop, not our current loop, because there were differences in her history and our history.
A previous loop or one of many?
A previous loop. I don't know which one, but it would appear our friend the Indefinite, when traveling through time, altered your history.
And what would that be?
There wasn't a coup in the previous timeline.
How is that possible?
From what I gathered,
How?
Hmm?
Continue.
From what I was able to gather from Iyera, you did indeed marry Demir in the previous timeline. And Demir, being Demir, left the Feywilds at one point, and you followed her for love, obviously. And that is when we met in the previous timeline. So there wasn't a coup in the previous loop. So that would mean the Indefinite, when changing time, either directly or indirectly, caused the coup.
Well, that's an interesting theory, at least.
CR was forthcoming about those details, but she was more private about her own existence, understandably.
Yes. He doesn't seem fully to believe it. You can kind of tell.
I just figured you would be interesting to know that your enemies are in league with the Indefinite somehow.
I don't know if they're in league with him. All things that I've seen so far indicate that Viola was acting independently to her own benefit, her own spite. I hardly think that she would team up with some time-traveling creature.
I'm not implying that they necessarily teamed up, but the idea certainly could have been planted, or the capacity to do so was altered by the Indefinite in an attempt to reduce our abilities to deal with him.
Does the Indefinite even know that we exist? For all intents and purposes, we are chasing the wake of his ship as he blindly travels through time trying to get his family back. We are just in the after effects of everything he tries to do. I do not know if he is actively working against us. We don't have any evidence of that, do we?
He has appeared in multiple of our pasts in a way to hinder our progression. It feels personal. the change to your past, so you didn't have access to the powers of your court. The fuck. Who's the Jester Hat person's name again?
Tasha.
Tasha.
Tasha. He was instrumental in Tasha's past. He is tied to the mechanical development of Hawk. After all, Jamie did appear at the factory where the evil prototypes were. And I would not be surprised if he made an appearance in other of ours pasts. Too many coincidences.
But coincidences still.
For now.
He seems to contemplate this, though, and say, I find it very hard to believe that in another time, while following Demir is very much something I would do, it seems very unlikely to me, knowing myself as I do, that I would have, with all of my powers, failed. And to become so close to all of you as well seems odd.
All your powers failed. Stopping the indefinite.
Perhaps.
Then, if I was the indefinite and I was being fought by a Fey Lord, I would certainly limit his powers.
Why doesn't he just kill us then? Why does he continuously try to undermine us by our Achilles tendons and not just kill us and then not allow us to reset, kill us in our infancy? If he is so in tune with the time streams, if he can manipulate that whole cloth, why not find me as a little thing and kill it? Seems like it would be rather simple.
That is a good point. Perhaps he needs us for something, or perhaps his control over time isn't as precise as we thought.
I think that he is not getting the results that he wants, and as such is floundering around time, cutting holes and stepping through them, thinking that he's going to get where he wants. And he's just mucking things up more. He's an idiot.
I ain't gonna argue the idiot and mucking it up parts.
Oh, it didn't work well in this timeline. Maybe if I just change this one thing, things will work better this time. Fails again, fails again.
And who knows how many times we've been on this loop.
So why doesn't he just kill us? If we are somehow the one thing that is stopping him, which somehow I doubt. This is a big wide world with multiple planes and dimensions.
Perhaps the reason why we're able to stop him is the reason why he's not able to interfere directly with us. So far, it's always been through an agent.
I wonder how hard it would be to try and go and find his family ourselves. Oh, Valkyria, what if we're the ones that killed his family back in the day? What
It
if
would
we
certainly
started
piss
this
him off.
whole time in the first place? Um, what a curious thing that would be. Unlikely. But
Anyway, I
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
inform you of this information directly since it regards your past, and I know you are a private man.
I don't think that it really behooves us to think about what our alternate timelines were doing or succeeded or failed at. I'm very much looking towards the present, this present's future.
I agree, but knowing where things have changed can give us knowledge is never to be. Where the fuck am I going with this?
I don't know, Valkyria. You would have me grieve for a time where I was not fallen, and I do not see how that sort of grief being carried around helps us in this current mission.
I'm not asking you to grieve. I am giving you information for when we take back your court that we will likely run into an agent of the indefinite. Be
Perhaps we
that
did not run
Viola
into an
herself
agent.
or someone else. Sorry.
We did not run into an agent of the indefinite when we were disposing of things in the robot factory. I could not, in good conscience, call the giant clockwork dragon something that the indefinite put in our path. He fucked up his own life himself. Did he
That
not?
is correct, but it doesn't change the fact that the indefinite did contact him and shared information, and we ultimately entangled with the Dragon Man.
Perhaps.
I just noticed a pattern emerging.
It seems that this being is everywhere and nowhere. So I
An apt
do not
description.
disagree. Do not disagree. They his effects are ever present.
Anyway, would you like me to scout out some prey, or are you preferring to hunt solo?
I can certainly take care of myself. I am curious, though, Valkyrie, how you are feeling about this wedding tomorrow.
The wedding's tomorrow?
It is. Is it not tomorrow? When is it happening?
I thought it was still a couple days.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
within
in
the
a
next
couple
couple
of
of days.
This wedding coming up. Quite the reunion.
Uh-oh, it's been turned at Valk.
Don't know truth.
Does Druid get Zone of Truth?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Wouldn't you like to know, Feather Boy? Well, Feather Girl, you're Weather Boy. Formulating an answer. I understandably am dealing with a fair amount of emotions, but they seem to make each other happy, and so far they've been honest in everything they've shared with us. I wish to also give them the best chance of happiness.
What emotions are they making you feel, Iyera? Are you upset?
It would be a lie if I didn't say that I wasn't jealous of a life I didn't have.
Oh.
But those feelings don't make it that I don't want others not to have it. Just because my childhood was ruined, I don't wish the same on Nim or any other.
You don't think that the same thing could potentially happen again?
I would certainly hope not. I don't see any power-hungry priest using a Ganassi as a chance at power, unlike a first-generation Azamar. And besides, they'd have me protecting them.
That is true.
And besides, it reminds us of why we're fighting. Not just for us, but for the little people as well.
For the children.
The future.
Well, you tell us if anything of that emotion changes, won't you?
Yes, sir.
Let's hunt. And Lish will shift into a direwolf.
And Valk activates her wings.
So you guys can make a perception check, each individually, or one of you with advantage.
I can go with advantage.
Perception as opposed to survival?
Yeah, let's do survival.
Okay, have advantage on survival.
Okay. My survival is not as good as my perception.
Oh, that is true.
15. It's fine.
15? Okay. So, you see various paths that one could potentially follow. There's one that looks more hooved in nature. There's one that looks more like paws, and there's one that looks more like little paws.
He'll go after hooves.
Hooves, all right. Make another survival check.
With the advantage again?
Assuming Valk's helping you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the raven to Lish's wolves.
That's a 18.
18, all right. You're eventually able to track down and kill a pronghorn.
Hell yeah. Lish will eat some and then he'll bring the rest back.
Okay.
He's like, we're gonna be here for a few days. I don't have to do this all the time.
Fair enough. You know what? I said it in the chat, but I'll say it out loud. You missed out on the chance to find a black-footed ferret.
What would I do with one of those? I am a ferret.
Make friends with it, you coward.
Hey, I mean, the black-footed ferret can come to me.
But anyway, yeah, you kill the longhorn and you bring it back. Or pronghorn, I mean.
Hell yeah. Lish is just gonna chill for a while, gnaw on a bone. If Valk wants to sit with him.
All right. Is there anything anyone would like to accomplish before bedding down for the evening?
Before bed, Lish will tell Demir what Valk told him.
About the timeline or just everything?
The timeline. Well, the timeline stuff.
Demir actually, like, for a hot second before she, like, composes herself again, looks, like, incredibly disappointed.
Why?
Well, it means that future's unclear. That was a past of ours, not a future. I guess.
Yes.
The other us didn't make it.
Or we were sucked into a time portal. I don't know. Everything is wibbly wobbly.
It's confusing, and I don't know if we can even keep track of it.
You know, at least time shenanigans in the Feywild had a certain sense to them. This, on the other hand, is not just randomness. This is targeted randomness. Randomness towards a purpose, while also wrecking anything else around it that is affected. Anyways.
I mean, yeah. Sadly, there wasn't much interesting to be gleaned from Valkyria and Jason's conversation. And this is in Marhabi, by the way. I had Gree listening, but nothing of interest.
He looks at Gree like, little secret agent.
Gree just shrugs.
Demir gives Gree a little kiss on his little head.
Gets stuck like a tongue on an icicle pole.
That's horrifying. No, probably just like it's just like a little quick peck. You know, not like she's sticking her tongue on a cold pole.
No. Yeah, and Lish will just settle in for bed.
Yeah.
Any other conversations that would like to be had? All right. So, with that, I think we can move on to if there are any preparations anyone would like to do before the wedding. Any trips into town, any conversations, any
Lars is
explorations,
raising his
any
hand.
tryings.
Valk wanted to go back to town for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a wedding present.
Ah,
Soda's going to go with her, but with her own agenda. She's
Excellent.
going to
Murder.
she's going to basically walk around town and rumor mong to see if there's anything weird going on other than the weather changes.
All right. Roll investigation check.
Oh, I love those. I guess she loves those.
anybody can come into town. Lish can tree stride over.
I'm gonna tree stride instead of sending owls.
We can take the owls back, but tree stride saves us some time in the morning.
All right.
My dice tray is like super flat for some reason. Anyway, that is a 25.
25. What sorts of rumors are you looking for in particular?
Well, she's already heard plenty about the time, like the not the time thing. They don't know it's a time thing. She probably has gleaned it's a time thing about the seasons. She's more so thinking about like rumors, like any weird monster sightings or any hauntings, any adventure shit.
Okay. Let me pull stuff up. So this is more of a quiet town.
Which means that if anything's amiss, it's gonna be the talk of it.
That. But lucky you, I have a list somewhere, if I can fucking find it, of various rumors. Or
just real quick, I'm compiling some like in character notes I intend to share with everyone later. We're in Iyera, right?
We are in Iyera, yes.
All right, cool. I'm having her write down observations on time chronologically so that she can pass them off to the roses later, including a transcription of our corpse interrogation and a conclusion that she drew from it.
Sorry, what did I miss? We're going on a shopping trip.
You're going on a shopping trip, and Zoda's investigating
gossiping.
adventure tales. Or not tales of adventures, there's a monster in the forest kind of things.
Okay. You're not really getting too much of like calls to adventure. There's nothing like, oh, I saw a dragon fly over town the other day. Nothing like that. There's some local gossip going on. Like,
that's what she's
I heard that so-and-so was seen sneaking out of another person's house in the morning on a walk of shame. Stuff like that. There's various rumors talking about like local urban legends is some of the stuff that you get into. Like, anyone that kills 100 rats is turned into a goblin. It's according to the story that happened like 100 years ago.
Yeah, she's just real quick. She is eating all this up, but I guess more specifically because I'm bad at words. She's sort of looking for anything that she could probably tie to the seasons being completely thrown out of balance. Anything that sounds even remotely related.
Not really.
Okay.
It just like the weather has been weird. Like one day, it will be pretty warm out and hot. The next, it will be snowing. It's just, and like Jason had mentioned, every now and then there will be weird light, like in the sky. Not of the northern lights variety, not even of the UFO variety. It's just more like, for lack of a better descriptor, like there's spells being cast in the distance of the sky, but no one really knows. You do hear the same rumor that Margaret had said before about maybe the Stone family's cursed and that's why they don't have any children. But like, it's fine. It's all good. People do know Runa and Jason, and so there's lots of rumors going around, like, or not rumors so much, but there's talk going around about the wedding and who's invited and whatnot, stuff like that.
Can she get any more information about the Stone family while she's out?
Okay. What sort of information are you looking for?
Just anything, like where they live, what their deal is, how long have they been here?
All right. Well, the Stone family is primarily a human family historically, but the most recent commander of the city, Rhett, he is married to an elf. He's talked about in the way that people will sometimes talk about rich people, in that, yeah, he's been around for his family's been around for a long time. He's wealthy. He owns the land and the lake. He's the one in charge around here. He is not an incompetent ruler, but he doesn't always pay people well, but that's how it is.
Capitalism.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm guessing she could get a location of like their manor or whatever.
Yeah, it's not difficult to spot.
Okay. Sick. All right, that's all from me. Valkyria can go mall shopping now, and maybe Zoto will join up with her maybe halfway through.
All right.
I wish to speak to a goblin.
Oh,
All right. So let me.
It was the goblin who's in charge of the transportation shop, right?
Yes. Carts and crafts. Lots of different kinds of vehicles for sale and rent. The goblin man he's kind of hobbling around on his peg leg, and he sees you as you approach. What can I do for you?
I was wondering if you had a ship for sale.
Oh, what kind of ship are you looking for?
Fuck, you sent me the link to ship types.
Mm-hmm.
Where? There it is. I was wondering if you had a keelboat of some kind.
I'm not actually allowed to sell those without permission from the commander. Do you have a note from him?
Not yet.
Oh, and in that case, I can sell you a rowboat, which is good for getting across the river. Otherwise, I can sell you a horse or a moorbounder.
I will be back after talking to the commander.
Oh, good luck. Why did I do that to myself? All right. Where do you go?
Who's with me? Who came into town?
I was gonna say Lish was there. He's tagging along.
I think Demir probably came along as well.
Aaron stayed back.
Tobias stayed back as well, since he had no reason to go into town.
Levy probably stayed back. I think she's hanging out with Nim.
You know, just the mother energy. Well, I guess we're going to go bother the commander.
All right. So you get to the Moonstone Fortress, and there are lots of guards. They prevent you from going in.
I asked the guards, is there a place where one gets licenses to buy boats? I assume that any business might be able to come and procure this license.
So the guard that you approach to talk to is sort of a younger man, maybe like 18, 19. Doesn't look like he's been on the job for too long, but he says, oh well, if you're looking to get a boat, you can submit a request through the mail, and the commander will authorize it, and then you'll be able to you'll be able to get the ship commissioned and made, and then you'll be able to pay him a percentage of the fish that you catch.
Are we looking to catch fish, Valkyria?
Probably.
Why
Do
are
we
we
have
buying a
time?
boat?
That's why we. This is a wedding gift, is it not?
Yes.
Yes, fine guard. We do not have a lot of time to go through the usual process, you see. We are just in town for the wedding going on. I'm sure you've heard. It is quite the festivity that this small town is experiencing. We don't have a ton of time to we are not commissioning the building of a boat. We are just purchasing a boat that will need to be given. In fact, doesn't your father-in-law, does he not have some kind of fishing license already?
He works under someone else. I am trying to give him the means of bettering his position without just throwing money at him, because he seemed an honorable man.
We are only in town for a short period of time. Perhaps if we were able to speak with your boss, we might be able to convey that. By the time that we go through the normal process, the wedding will have been over and we will be headed home, if not already on our way.
Roll a persuasion check.
$18.
The young guard kind of looks uncertain. He's like, well, I can go ask.
Would you mind if we tagged along with you?
Well, I'm not allowed to let anyone inside of the manor. So you can wait here. And I'll be right back. And he kind of wanders off.
Okay.
Wish.
Just kind of looks at Valkyria like, is this really the gift that you want to? Maybe you should just give him the money so he can go through this process in due time.
Buy him a fishing pole. Dads love fishing poles.
Does anyone make any efforts to like follow this guard or anything?
I mean,
or send the pixies?
Sure, Lish will send Bright Mellow to follow, and he'll use his find familiar spell on Bright Mellow so you can see through his eyes.
Okay. Would you like to roll stealth for Bright Mellow, or should I?
You can roll it.
Okay.
Thank you, you two, for your aid in this endeavor. I greatly appreciate it.
All right. Bright Mellow got a 22.
Oh shit! Hell yeah, Bright Mellow.
So Bright Mellow follows this this guard inside, and it's interesting because all of the guards seem to be concentrated on the outside of the building. There's almost no one inside of the building itself except for the odd servant going by.
Okay.
The house is very, for lack of a better descriptor, sterile. It's very clean, and looks as you would expect a manor to look, with portraits of fancy people on the walls, and you assume these to be the previous commanders of Iyera. There are various vases on tables without any flowers in them. I'll tell you what, roll a perception check since you're looking through through Bright Mellow's eyes.
27.
27. Interestingly, you notice very subtly in a corner, close to the floor by one of these tables. Apparently some of the servants seem to have missed it. But there seems to be like a child's drawing just scrawled on the baseboard.
We can't let people know we sit. And there's just nobody but servants.
You're not seeing anyone but servants at the moment. And
Bright Mellow doesn't spy any children specifically.
No. But the guard and Bright Mellow head into what seems to be a very fine office. There's lots of bookshelves and a fireplace on one side of the room, with a couple of frankly uncomfortable looking chairs, kind of angled towards the fire, as if creating the illusion of this is a nice little sitting place where we can have meetings. But they don't look like they've ever really been sat upon. Instead, there is a broad clawfoot desk with various books and quills and paperwork on it, behind which a human man sits. He seems to be, let me pull up his description. He seems to be about 46 years old. He's got fair skin and brown hair. He has kind of hazel eyes, and he looks irritated at the interruption. And
Is he seem to like be working on something? He's engrossed in something? Anything interesting? Just by first glance.
he seems to be working on his morning coffee.
Ooh.
He is approached by this guard, and the guard explains that there's a handful of people who are wishing to acquire a boat in order to ship to be a wedding gift. And it's clear that while the guard knows who is getting married and who these people are, Commander Stone has to kind of pull away from his desk and look in his files to see like who exactly these people are. He clearly does not give a shit.
He didn't file the marriage paperwork.
That's the job of the clerics of town. And he eventually says, "Oh yes, that's that man that just began work on one of my other ships. He's wishing to acquire an additional ship." And the guard says, it seems to be the hope, or I guess at least these people want to get him about to fish in the lake. And he's like, "And have they filed the necessary paperwork for that?" And the guard says, "No, they were just hoping to get the boat." And Commander Stone says, "Then I don't see why you're bothering me with this. You can go now." The guard says, "Yes, sir," and heads out. Does Bright Mellow follow him?
Yeah, because that's what I had Bright Mellow ordered to do, I guess. Yeah.
All right. So the guard returns outside with Bright Mellow, having not noticed him, and says, "Sorry, he says you gotta fill out the paperwork. I can get you some of the papers you need to get the process going. You can talk to Glug about it. He's the owner of Carts and Crafts. Short little fella guy."
We spoke briefly with Grug in regards to purchasing a boat, and he was the one who directed us here to get permission.
Listen, we would really appreciate the chance to speak to him face to face. I understand that your master is very busy, but surely there's a little something that can be done to get an audience with a very important man from some very important guests. And Demir is just going to like lightly in like her hand, like she's fidgeting, but she's playing with a gold piece. Not entirely bribery, but it's a fidget.
Implied.
Implied.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Alright. Oh my Jesus fucking Christ. Hold on one sec. Well,
That
that's still
good?
a 17. No, I rolled a 4 and an 8. But I'm that bitch. It's a 17.
You can see the kid's eyes kind of land on the gold piece, and he is weighing the merits of like, if I take these people inside the building, will I get fired?
Even if you were just somehow able to expedite the process.
You're in town for the wedding?
Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I can arrange a meeting with him within the next couple of days.
That would be wonderful. I think we can deal with that.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. And he kind of like rushes back inside.
Okay.
Well, I guess he's getting paid on success then.
Suppose.
Do you guys mind if Zoda just like walks up at this point? Because her investigation would in fact have led her to the manor, which I assume is where you guys are right now. Definitely sounds like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zoda walks up as Lish turns to Valk and is like, does this man think that he owns the lake and all of the boats? I do not understand.
That is usually how ownership works.
It definitely sounds that way. Also, hi.
Hey, Zoda.
I don't
Hi,
think a man
I-
should be able to own a lake that is already populated by nymphs. It is their home. They were there first.
Unfortunately, us mortal folk don't really think about the Feywild, I guess. I imagine the stones think they're too important to care.
Welcome to capitalism, buddy. It sucks.
I'm sure they'll
capitalize I would have
when
asked
all
the
of
nymphs.
boats start to capsize.
That's a stone problem, I would say. Speaking of the stones, I did a bit of rumor monging, just out of curiosity. They've got quite a few rumors around them. I'm sure you might have heard them. I'm wondering if they're at all connected to the lights that people are seeing in the sky.
Did hear rumors about a curse.
So did I, yeah.
Was that it?
Curses and weird lights, like quote unquote. Not like an aurora, but like magic. I'm thinking of staying up tonight and see if I can catch it.
Is it new or ongoing?
Did they mention that? Like if it was recent or if it's been a thing since before the weather, the global warming?
It's been going on since the strange happenings have been going on across the country.
It's been lasting about as long as basically everything that has to do with our little fraying problem. So it could just be that. I still want to take a look at it, see if I can't get a better read on what's exactly happening. I don't know if the stones are involved, but they might know something. They might have been doing research on their own, concerned about their property more so than their town.
I don't know if the stones are... Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I don't know if the stones are involved in anything but themselves.
Well, of course not, but rapidly changing seasons definitely involves them, whether they want to be involved or not.
Oh, you would be surprised.
Just on the
It
off
is
chance that
not
maybe
the-
they've done a little bit of analysis.
It is not the wealthy who freeze to death in the winter.
True.
But a poor
Have the-
harvest does impact their bottom line.
Have the lights appeared in the sky or on the ground?
From all accounts, it was in the sky. Like, again, sort of an aurora, but not.
Does this sound familiar at all? Can I roll like an Arcana check to see if I've seen or heard of something like this before?
Roll an Arcana check.
It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. I mean, you're not entirely sure, but you know that if there's something going on with magic, with strange happenings, you're not entirely surprised to hear that there might be like weird like magical effects happening in the area.
Yeah. Weird shit.
Well, I'm certainly up to look into it. We don't have much else to do before the wedding.
Yeah, mostly just a bit of, stargazing at this point. Could be fun. Could be interesting.
Mhm.
What are you guys up to?
Buying a boat.
Oh,
Tempting.
I mean, not for you guys, right? You can't exactly bring it anywhere else.
No, I was
Not with
hoping
that
that it
attitude.
could be a wedding gift. Give Mr. Carter a way to better his and my mom's station without, just throwing money at them.
I mean, a boat's fancy and all, but like, I guess the point is if you want them to look fancy, if you want them to fish better.
Well,
Throwing money is often a more effective way of going
I mean,
about.
yeah, but an actual gift is more thoughtful, you know?
Mhm. I will grant that.
tools to better their station instead of just here's some money.
Well, if you can't grab the boat, fishing gear might not be a bad idea. But he goes through a lot of nets.
Well, the owner of the boat would supply the fishing gear, which the owner of the boat is Senor Commodore in there.
Ah. So you want to know not just the lake, but everything on it. Makes sense, I guess.
Mhm.
It's at this point that the guard comes back and says,
Oh.
he had a space for a meeting in tomorrow evening after dinner. He kind of like looks you guys. I told him that you were visiting and wouldn't be here long and have money. So, but yeah, to tomorrow evening.
Appreciate your effort, good man. Gives him like a handshake.
And he
That
looks
will be perfect.
kind of relieved that you're not like yelling at him.
Poor customer service boy.
Used to
Demir
dealing with
will-
Karens.
Yeah. Demir will also shake his hand and give him that, like, just palm that gold piece off to him. Like, your effort is so appreciated.
This guy's eyes kind of go wide, and he like puts the gold piece in his pocket. And then he kind of like moves back to his post and stands at attention with his halberd. And, like, all right, I don't know how to exit this conversation, so I'll go over here now.
All right, so is that it? Or do we have more business in town?
Well, unless you want to restock on pastries. But
Lish, do you want more of those honey cakes?
I think it would be interesting.
We can swing by.
I doubt there's much more we can do to prepare for our meeting.
yeah, mostly just
Not today.
yeah.
Valkyria, I was curious. How are you feeling with all of this? You seem quite generous.
Well, I zone of truth to Carter, and he is indeed an honorable man and wanting to take care of my mother, and has aided her in her search for me, and is a good father to Nim, at which point a man like that deserves the opportunity to better his station.
Certainly. I was more referring to how you are dealing with your mother, less the standing of her fiance, who seems to be of average make.
So it's just like muttering like this again.
I will admit it is strange knowing that I have a loving mother when I have existed so long without, but I'm doing my best not to lick a gift horse in the mouth.
I suppose.
Now, if only everyone could just ask this question one time instead of being asked separately by everyone I know, that would be great.
I do not think that is a very reasonable thing to ask.
Unfortunately.
We are what we are.
Well,
An
hey,
extremely organized adventuring party.
What, you guys never have like council meetings or anything?
Closest that we had was when I zoned a truth to everyone right before we met you.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Let's not speak of that.
Like I said, must have been fun.
Do Valk and Demir just flash bitchy smiles at each other?
Demir just kind of like, let's not speak of that, and moves on. Like, doesn't even have any sort of look towards anyone.
So about the wing pastries, then.
It does remind me, I do need to zone a truth Toby still.
Why? What for?
Mental health.
You could just ask him, check in with him, speak to him.
Says the queen of squirreliness.
Oh, that must have
It
been
is
really
not
fun.
my fault that everyone assumes I am lying no matter what I say.
Just
I'm sorry, whose fucking fault is that?
Lish, do something about your wife.
Lish just stares at you like, what do you want me to do?
You honestly think I could tame this gremlin? Oh, fuck.
She is my wife. I am not her keeper.
I hate colds. I hate COVID.
Understandable.
Anyway, regardless, why don't you just ask Toby?
Later. Don't we have pastries to get?
Yes. What?
On that note, I'm a little curious. Lisha, are you used to having wings or something?
Oh.
Valk just behind Lish, just like, no. Abort. Don't do
Lish
it,
kind
man.
of like turns to look at Zoda as they're walking, like, what does it matter?
Oh, I'm just curious. If you don't want to
What
say,
gave
you
you
don't want
that
to say.
What gave you that impression?
Because I was just like sort of like gazing past his shoulder over at Valkyria. On second thought, maybe I should drop it.
Lish
Alright.
just kind of turns back towards walking.
Okay. So you head back to Scrumdiddlyumptious. The bad news is it is closed. There is a sign on the door that says closed for wedding preparation.
Oh, yeah, we did dump a shit ton of money on her.
Poor thing.
She'd probably answer the door for us if she's home.
Yeah, we did pay her a shit ton of money.
Just check in on how the cake is going. Didn't you order cake?
Yes.
Do you knock on the door?
Tunk, 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 tunk. Thump,
Alright.
thump.
Okay. She does not seem to hear you. She rolled a 5.
You could always message her.
I think I need to... Oh, wait, no, I don't need to see them.
You just need to be 30 feet and know the direction.
I just need to be within 120 feet.
Never mind. I thought it was shorter than that.
Yeah, I think. Was it sending your message?
Message.
Okay.
Sending, because it's a 3rd level spell, is just like, yeah, no, they hear you.
I mean, would you... Okay. I will...
Just use this message.
send a message inside, and I learned her name, and now my brain is blanking.
It's probably
Hold on.
Margaret.
Margaret. Yes, thank you.
I see we all don't have access to the brain cell this morning.
Yeah.
When do we ever? It's too early to have a brain. Always.
I'm going to cast message into the shop and just, oh, Margaret, are you there?
You hear a clang from inside at the same time. You hear in your head, oh shit, hold on.
It's okay, no worries. Take your time.
And you see Margaret kind of run out, and there's like flour like up to her elbows and all over her apron. And she runs and like starts to open the door, but then stops and like tries to wipe the flour off and just ends up getting more flour on her forearms, and then gives up and just opens the door anyway. Hi. Sorry. What's up?
Do you want a hand with that? Or
Oh, no, I got it. And plus I'm the only one that can make the stuff where it won't get my magic. Hi.
Hi.
Were you here to check on the cake? Because I'm working on it.
Clearly.
I believe you. Apologies for interrupting. I think Demir is going to look at the rest of the group.
Were there any other pastries available? I think was what we were going to inquire.
Yeah. I mean, I might have a few that you can take. What are you interested in? I've got all of the ones that were in your baker's dozen. How are you enjoying those, by the way? I'm sorry, I meant to ask.
No, they are absolutely fantastic.
Hence why we returned so soon.
Exactly. I was wondering if you had any more of those honey rolls.
I've got a couple. That would be a silver.
Sure. I will pay for that.
Okay. Just a second. And she shuts the door and runs back inside.
Poor thing.
You ordered a cake from her?
Valkyria did.
Yeah, I may or may not have thrown a lot of money at her for pastries for the wedding.
Wow. It's going to be a very fun wedding.
That was the thought.
If the cake's anything like the pastries.
Oh no.
What, did you not think about that?
No.
I hope it's a good magic then. It'd be an awful shame if everyone broke into the cake after the reception and turned into snakes or something.
I don't know. That would make for a fun story.
Oh no, it'd be very fun, but I don't know how they would handle it.
Very good wedding. Sounds like any kind of good wedding needs a little bit of shape-shifting, don't you think?
Of course you would say that.
Oh no, I perfectly agree.
I think I might want to make sure I have Dispel Magic prepped for that day.
She comes back and opens the door and hands you the honey roll, which I will just give the description again. Soft and spongy bundt cake baked with walnuts in the dough and a healthy heap of honey drizzled over the top. When consumed, you are under the effect of a fly spell, creating translucent bee-like wings on your back for the duration.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Hands you the honey roll.
Thank you so much. If you get a batch that has the same effect, we would, of course, be interested in buying more. But, of course, no rush since you're focusing on the wedding pastries.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I have time for that. How long are you guys in town?
At least through the wedding. I don't know
Okay.
if we have any plans post that, but we're also capable of traveling rather efficiently if need be.
I'm so sorry. I might not be able to get to it until after the wedding.
Again,
Okay.
we're not worried about it. The wedding is the priority.
Okay.
We just are happy that we were able to pick up some more.
Cake is going well. By the way, yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice. Gonna see if I can make some cupcakes too. But yeah.
I am so excited. Zamir is going to give her a gold piece. Keep the change.
Are you sure?
I insist.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Of course. Fellow bakers got to look out for each other.
We've turned into rich people who don't know how to tip.
Is there anything else I can get you guys while you're here? I mean, technically I'm closed right now, but like since you already gave me so much for the cake and stuff, Consider
it an inconvenience charge. We are, after all, out of hours.
Okay. Well, thank you again.
Of course. We'll see you at the wedding.
Of course, yes. I mean, I have to be there anyway to deliver the cake.
Looking forward to seeing you there then.
All right. I'll see you then, I guess. And he kind of shuts the door and goes back inside.
She is just darling.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Grade A NPC.
Valkyria, you're gonna be busy probably. Being, I don't know, related to the bride and all. I can dispel cake if it comes to that. It's fine. I managed to pick up some notes on that when we got back after the spire.
It doesn't take much.
Part of the wedding, Valkyria? Are you going to be a part of it?
That is a good question.
That's sort of what I
meant.
Question,
please. Sorry.
What?
Repeat the question, please. I was distracted for a second.
Am I going to be a part of the wedding party? And that is a good question.
I mean, do you want to be?
I am technically a cleric. I could officiate.
You could officiate.
I should probably ask about that.
Okay.
Do you know how to officiate? If you're going to do that, maybe you should ask your friend Whistling Torrent.
No, that wasn't a I don't know how. It's like, bitch, please.
Oh, okay.
Just like
sorry, you just don't. You frankly don't seem like the type, considering you're like armed to the teeth.
Okay, that is fair, but no, I've had traditional training. Most of my good deeds are done through the slaying of not good things.
Through the business end of a very pointy stick, yeah.
Well, it was originally a hammer, but at the moment, yes, it is a pointy stick. Oh yeah.
Well, good to know.
Zoda exists post hammer.
Yeah. She's been with you guys for like, I don't know, 2 weeks at most.
Yeah.
Probably shorter than that.
It feels like you've been here longer.
I don't know. You seem very familiar. Like there's something about you that almost reminds me of a previous person we had ventured with. I just don't know where it comes from.
I appreciate the comment, but I do barely know shit about you people, so.
Well, that makes two of us.
I mean, you're welcome to ask.
Well,
I don't
no, I meant I
exactly
don't
have
know
a-
shit about these people. Points at
I don't
them.
exactly have a dark, tormented past like some rogue tried to convince me in a tavern.
Do you want
Well,
one?
I'm sure you can
Pulls out a
fabricate
knife.
one.
Yeah, we can arrange a dark, tormented past if you want.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with the unusual amount of torment I get from you guys. Half joke.
Predatory grin.
Is there anything else you would like to accomplish in town?
I don't think so.
I would have gone looking for a spyglass, but I looked at the things for that. I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably buy one at Walter's.
I mean, yeah, but I don't want to put the party down 1,000 GP.
Oh,
That's
Jesus
much,
Christ.
Yeah.
I looked it up online and like people were like, "Man, why is it so expensive?" And someone was like, "Well, technically, it is 2 centuries ahead of its time, judging from the general vibe of the rest of." I almost said Tamriel. That is not what it's called. Faerun.
Actually, glassworking to that degree has been around for a fairly long period of time.
Yeah, but
I actually had to research when sunglasses were invented
fine.
because reasons.
Yeah, but either way, I imagine that the magical phenomenon is probably going to be visible in the sky if the town residents were able to see it without such a thing.
Well, we could always just fly up.
That's true too.
We did just get pastries, and I have my wings.
We've also got owls. We always have the owls.
You have to negotiate with Lish for that one.
That's true.
What do you
So
want
I'd
to
probably
do
have
with
a
the
hard time
owls?
negotiating.
For going
Nothing.
light
Just
seeing.
like out of character musings of like, I mean, we could fly up there on Owlback to get a closer look at the magic.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
All right.
Up to you. I won't force you to waste your energy.
I don't think I'll be burning much of it over the course of this wedding, unless something goes horrifically wrong.
Let's hope nothing does.
Exactly.
Prepare for the
Unless
worst,
somebody
expect the best,
stands
you
up
know?
and says, I object. I object to this pairing.
And then we'll have to do a murder.
No, not necessarily.
Who knows? The heavens might part, and your father might have an opinion about this whole affair.
That would be amazing.
Valk just kind of
terrifying.
shuts down at that. It's just like, I didn't even think about Papa.
I would love to be at a wedding that a god attends. That would be quite something to rave about.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a god. He's a angel. So, couple steps down. God, if I was a half god, we'd be in a much different position fighting asswipe.
Well, I do actually wonder. I mean, an angel is a blessing of its own.
Yeah,
I think Valkyria
let's-
looks enough the
let's-
part, personally.
let's see if you have that opinion if you ever get to meet my dad for the first time.
I don't have any interest in it. I was just saying you do.
What,
Have
that's
a
not a Delph you
connection
want to
or-
seduce? That was out of character.
Good. I could sense like the building murderous energy.
I don't even remember what I was going to say.
alright.
Yeah, I think that
You-
is
you
a
have a
sufficiently
connection
strong idea to
to-
derail.
Yeah, you have a connection to your heavenly parents, and I'm sure that in your searching for gifts, if we are not able to get through to the commander, that would be quite a blessing to give, if it's something you can arrange.
That would be one hell of a backup gift, yeah.
I think the boat might be easier.
The boat would probably be easier, funnily enough, but, just saying.
We always need a plan B.
Oh, you guys don't go down to plan F?
Plan F is fuck it. So we usually end up there anyway.
Killer response.
When all else fails.
I'd make a wee ball joke, but I haven't learned the fireball, not the actual fire, but like the big ball of fire spell. I forget what it's called. Whatever.
Flaming sphere.
Oh, she doesn't remember that. Think she paid attention in Invocation 101?
Yeah, no,
she
she was focused on her studies of time bullshittery.
Oh yeah, but to master Dunamancy, you do have to know a little bit of everything.
Nerd.
Yes.
So it's at this point we will check in with Erin and Tobias. What have you guys been up to back at the fortress? The fortress is probably shrunk by this point.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't it just stay
it has
open?
duration?
It lasts like 24 hours, doesn't it?
Okay.
I'll have
Oh
to
wait,
double-check.
does that mean that Toby and Aaron are gonna have to figure out how to manipulate Lich's cube while they're all out in town? That sounds hilarious.
No, Toby and Aaron will just stay in there and get crushed.
I mean, hopefully not.
I think it just stays open.
Double checking.
Let me look at it.
Oh yeah, you've probably got like the actual stat page linked somewhere.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it has a timing. I think you can just lay it down forever.
Avery, you're muted if you're saying something.
I was going to say, if it disappears after 24 hours, that's kind of really important for us to know.
No, it just...
It doesn't have a time limit. It doesn't seem.
The cube rapidly grows into a fortress that remains until you use an action to speak the command word that dismisses it, which only works if the fortress is empty.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It would pop everybody out if it tried to collapse on people.
No, it just doesn't.
Mansion.
Yeah.
All right.
Magnificent Mansion is a really cool spell, but yeah.
So, Tobias and Erin, what are you guys getting up to?
Aaron's is gonna go back to his house, and is she in today?
Yes, she is.
He'll do bits and trees for a little bit, and then he's gonna get down to the meet and coming over and be like, so have you been handling the decorations and prep work for the wedding yourself, or
well, I'm rather new to the textiles business. Mostly, I help with repairs. I help fix things. I hope to at some point learn from Misty how to actually how to make garments.
that would be cool.
But for now, I'm focusing on things such as repairs and being on the floor, making sure that people are helped. It's mostly just to serve as an extra source of income when we need it, and I also like to feel helpful. around town.
Aw. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's admirable.
Are you interested in textiles, stuff like that?
Oh, oh, definitely. I mean, mostly just as an observer. I can't say I have any skill with making anything. Um, but oh, there really is something like a really so whatever.
You do you do any sort of craft work or art?
Oh gosh, constantly. I mostly do paintings. I have, and he's gonna whistle around in his bag for a little bit. Um and pull out. I'm not gonna describe this thing right now. Because I want specific details of it to be a surprise later. But he's gonna pull out a picture he's done of Valk, and then show it to her.
Oh wow, this is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm making planning on giving it as a gift, or at some point. Mm.
This is just lovely. How long have you been painting?
Oh goodness. How long has he been painting?
Did he start pre-campaign?
Not like seriously. I don't think he would consider himself to have been a painter. I mean, he's like decorated shit before. Um, nah. Oh, I have just a few weeks now. Mm.
Oh wow, you've got a lot of natural talent in that case.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Uh, I think really if you love what you're doing, just always shines through.
I think that's a great philosophy to have.
Yay. Mm.
Well,
Mm.
I'm glad that you found something that makes you happy. These are gorgeous paintings.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Um, yeah, and you I'm not stuff. Mm, mm.
Could you repeat that, please? Sorry,
Oh,
you're cutting out a
yeah,
bit.
of course. He said that he also wished her well in learning how to make stuff, make clothing too. Mhm.
She shares with you a couple of vague sketches of design of a couple of like outfits that she had worked on. They're very rough, but she clearly did them herself.
Aww. Yeah, he's gonna, ooh and all over him.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Aaron?
I think he's also gonna transition into what what the like wedding thing prep is looking like. If she's been, like together, what like kind of, I don't know, like decorations they're gonna have up, and like if she's gonna have, I don't know, fucking flowers or whatever. Um and what her plans for that look like.
He talks a little bit about combining the traditions of both both Jason's upbringing and her own. So she has commissioned a short sword to be made for Jason that she will present to him. And meanwhile, he is planning on part of the ceremony they are going to tie a ship knot together on a piece of rope, and each of them are going to hold it for some of his traditions.
My goodness. I love that you're, both like that you're being viewed. It's like that. That's really admirable.
It's important to both of us to make sure that our cultures are represented.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that. And he's gonna rummage around in his backpack for a while, and pull out his old axe. I've got that is a big weapon in my family, that's really been passed down. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's so lovely to have like a physical reminder of where you come from and what's important to you
too. And of course, the gifting a weapon is supposed to be a representation of the strength in marriage and being able to trust someone enough to hand them a weapon of yours. I'm not much of a fighter, clearly, but I don't know. It's just nice.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
This is a lovely axe, though.
Yeah, why, thank you. Yeah, means a lot to me. Yeah.
She kind of looks over like the rune work on it, and it's clear that she doesn't know too much about weaponry, but she can admire a good piece of work.
Aww. And he'll show it off to her for a while. Yeah, and then store it back up.
All right. Tobias, what are you getting up to?
He's probably killing more time doing more wood carvings. If Nim wanders over at one point, Tobias will just kind of keep working on like one of the carvings, and then eventually he'll ask Nim, "Do you like animals?"
Nim just nods.
Tobias will start. He'll basically wood carve different animals and stuff, and then just start lining them up next to him for Nim to play with. If he wants
Nim
to.
is fascinated, and he seems to have an idea of the very specific order they should go in as you carve them. And he puts them all in a row and kind of just lays down on the ground and looks at them. What kind of animals do you carve?
Tobias will start off with the animals that he knows the most about, like just off the top of his head. There's definitely an owl in there. He'll make another bear, this one not sloppy. He'll do a rabbit, a wolf, a deer, and then eventually he'll move on to like a crow, a boar, maybe a mountain lion or something. One point he might do like a coiled up snake. Then he'll try to do a rat or like a mouse or something.
Nim traces a shape in the dirt. You can't tell what it is, though. Because he rolled a 7. But it seems to be big and vaguely four-legged.
Tobias will start guessing Or he'll say, does it have horns? I see. Is it larger than a bear?
He just spreads his arms out.
Oh, a bear standing up? And he'll kind of just play this game of like yes or no questions and stuff of kind of like trying to guess what the shape is and things, making a game out of it.
All right. Roll an insight check.
All right, Tobias. You got this. Tobias, you don't got this. That's a 5.
You're really not sure. Like, Nim is gesturing that it has a tail, but it's also on all fours and doesn't seem to stand up, and that it's got sharp teeth and ears, and he indicates he wants to pet one, but it's too scary. It also has claws. You're really not sure.
A lion? Did it seem like you got it correct?
He indicates that you're close.
Mountain lion. Oh, I can make you one of those. And Tobias,
and he just like flaps his hands excitedly.
Tobias will start working on the mountain lion. As he works, he might idly talk to Nim, like talking about how he's doing some of the carving that he's doing and stuff. Like picturing the shape of the animal and like slowly chipping it or carving it out of the wood and stuff, holding the knife at a certain angle, positioning your finger so you don't cut yourself, that sort of thing.
Nim is just wrapped with attention. He's listening very closely. He's very fascinated in what you're saying. And it seems like he's really focused on learning from you. He's of course being careful and staying out of your blood circle and everything like that. But like he's very interested in learning and will sometimes like kind of lean closer so that he can see what you're doing.
Yeah, when he leans closer, Tobias will like angle the carving and the knife and stuff so Nib can actually like see what he's doing and things. And he'll probably say, you might be a little young for it now. At least last thing you want to do is nick your fingers. And he'll show him the scar that he has on his ring finger that he got when he was a child. But perhaps when you're older, you can pick this up as well.
Kind of cocks his head to the side and looks at you and then holds up 10 fingers.
Is that your age? Ah. I bet you can be pretty careful already, although I'm not sure if I want to risk the potential scolding from your mother of having you try it.
He kind of frowns and nods and then goes back to laying down on the ground and looking at the things you've already carved.
Yeah. And Tobias does tell Nim that even if you can't try it today, there is always the future. And who knows? Maybe you'll be able to make some nice things for your mother. Yeah, I imagine that's most of their interactions. It's a very quiet, just very like chill affair and things. If Nim requests an animal, Tobias will gladly carve it and things. And he lets him take all of the carvings when he's done.
He only requests the mountain lion and then a seagull. And you also notice that he makes no effort to correct you to calling Runa his stepmother. He seems perfectly happy to think of her as mom.
Oh.
And so that seems like a good stopping point to me, unless anyone has any conversations they really want to get out before we call it for the day.
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you for playing, guys.
Woo!
Thank you as always.
So nice.
Thank you for DMing, yeah.
And
Honestly,
thank you for DMing.
the boat buying thing was just a snowball effect. Like, you said you were gonna try and buy a boat. I'm like, okay, well, hang on, let me think about how the economy of this place works. Oh, this guy's buying everything. I already know that he's a capitalist. So like
he's terrible. Let's kill him.
Don't tempt me.
Anyway, thanks for playing, guys.
Thank you for DMing.
Yeah,
thanks.
For fun.
Bye.
And we will see you next week.
Yep.